Britain, Ukraine, United States and Canada. So here they are, the 6-boat lineup are off. A little bit of a slow start from Canada. Great Britain, really high rating here. Off the start, see them alongside Ukraine. The Great Britain boat really overrating this duo from Ukraine.
Well, the Ukraine double was side by side with the French pretty much for most of the first 1,000 in their heat earlier on. That we saw that French double getting second place. I know the British team have got high hopes for this double, Lauren Rolls and Lawrence Whiteley alongside them. So let's see if these boats will be looking to get to the head of the field and who can challenge that Dutch double who did so well in the first semi-final.
Yeah, we'll give you a check of their times as they go through the various marks. But here's our camera at the 500 metre mark. The Dutch went through the 500 metres in 1:56. The British, the fastest moving boat on the course. They are really up for challenging the Dutch for the gold medal. And the Dutch are pretty unbeaten since the Paralympics. But this British double over 1,000 metres, because remember the Paralympics in Rio and previous to then, these Paralympic boat classes raced over 1,000 metres. Now it's over 2,000 metres. And just a second slower than the Dutch went through. 1:57, the Dutch went through in 1:56. But again, a lightning fast time from Rolls and Whitley. It's a big, strong lad, isn't he? That stroke man, the 27-year-old in the British boat from the Tees Rowing Club. It's crew coached by Tom Dyson. Really solid lean back, very strong in his core, isn't he?
Yeah, real power coming from the stroke seat there of the British crew here. See the Chinese, they're riding in third place at the moment, just behind Brazil.
Liu Shang out in the Chinese boat, Paralympic experience. Second in the event in Rio, behind the British. Now with a new partner, Zhang Jiang, the 27-year-old in the stroke of the Chinese boat, over there on the far side of the course. Just about in a qualifying position with the Ukrainians, and it's switching even as we can see it. But the British, you can see that light blue indicator in the bottom right. What a great indicator. It tells us 15 kilometres now. Also tells us the British are the fastest moving boat on the course.
Yeah, and they've kept that stroke rate up at 36 strokes a minute, and it's moving pretty well for them at the head of the field. You can imagine they're going to be looking forward to a race against the crew from the Netherlands, but that's for another day at the head of the field. The other picture we're looking at is to their left, and that Chinese double who started well and now just starting to slip out of that qualifying position.
Yeah, China just slipping back into fourth place there. Move from the Ukrainian double, the experienced Yaroslav Kaida in the stroke seat, Svetlana Bohlavska in the bows. They've got plenty of medals to their name, and they've just moved through the Chinese boat. China back in fourth. I think that move's also taking them onto the second place crew from Brazil. Great Britain way out in front as he goes through the 1,000 metres, 3:57.8.
As you say, we're looking at the experienced the Ukrainian crew, and yeah, they were very calm, really, weren't they, in that first 500, as the rest of the field kind of went for it, got away from them. Now we can see them, this is the business end of the race, the second 1,000, and they've just moved through that Chinese double, and like you say, putting pressure on the Brazilians as we look up here at the top of the field.
Well, guys, that second 500 was phenomenal from the British. They went through in, what was it, 3:57. The Dutch went through in 4:01. So,
wow.
You know, 1:57, hardly any fade for the second quarter. And that is world's best time pace, make no doubt about that. If they want to carry this on, there's no reason why it shouldn't. What a fantastic second quarter from the British.
Yeah, well, the British were actually quicker than the Dutch in the opening heats as well, but it's difficult to tell just how much the crews were giving when they had a reasonable lead. So that's definitely one to relish as the week and look forward to as the weekend comes.
There we see Jose Lima in the bow of the Brazilian boat with the light green cap on. Mike Gomez Pisana Her partner in the stroke seat goes down at 44, like Gomez-Pisana, 40 years of age, coached by Guillaume Suarez. And Brazil quite a centre for Paralympic rowing. Slightly older or younger combination from the Ukraine. Yaroslav Kuda in the stroke seat, 31, as is his partner Svetlana Bohuslavska. And this is an all-important race at the back of the field for the second and third qualification places. Top three will go through, qualify their country's boat for the Paralympics in Tokyo next year, as well as winning a place in the A final. The Ukrainians now made a move, and just through the 1500 metre mark, the British threw in 6:01. Guys, this is 5 seconds quicker than the Dutch, and the Dutch were about 5 or 6 seconds outside the world record, so they're going to be on or close, depending what they want to do in the last part of this race. They could get the world's best time, the British.
Well, really interesting, on or close to that time. I'm looking out of the window. I can't help thinking the wind is picking up and is more positive now than it was a few minutes earlier. But still, let's take nothing away from this British crew. What do you think, Kat?
Yeah, looking across the course there at those flags on the other side, there's a definite flutter there. This morning it was pretty still. May have well have picked up since the last semi we saw 10 minutes or so ago. But here, this British crew certainly on really good form.
And they are data-driven, the British. They will have the stroke coach. They will know the pace. I mean, you do get a sense of, you know, wow, this is going so fast. And then if you feel good and you feel great, I mean, I remember when Murray and Bond did the 6:08 in the Olympics, they kind of looked down and they knew how fast they were going, and that really kept the impetus for them to do that magical time of 6:08. So I can't see the British easing off if they've got that data in front of them telling how fast they're moving.
Well, the British double were at 36 earlier on in the race. They're now down at about 34. Let's see if they look to pick this up coming in towards the finish line, or whether they let themselves cruise as they're coming in with about 150 metres to go down towards the line. Let's see how they choose to play it.
Yeah, looking at that rate, still at 34 strokes a minute. They've got 200 metres left of this course. I'm really excited. I'd love to see them beat a world best time, but they've got to think about their A final as well against the Dutch. It's going to be a close race between those two, so about 20 strokes for them left to the line. Looking back to second and third place, Ukraine have solidified their second place ahead of Brazil. They've maintained a solid 37 strokes a minute down the course. Brazil slightly lower at 33 strokes a minute.
Britain come up to the line. We're looking for 8:06 as the world record. It's just going to be outside it, is it? Stops at 8:07. 8:06.21. So it possibly is a world championship best time. That's 8:07.92, which is also held by the Dutch. So if it's not a world record, it's a world championship best time. Ukraine finishing in second place, grabbing that all-important A final qualification and Paralympic qualification. Brazil, well, they congratulate each other. Gomez-Pisana shakes the hand of Yozan Lima. 8:07.33. That, to my thinking, is a world championship best time, or new world championship best time.
Well, impressive from the British at the head of the field. Confidence from the Ukrainians to row through the Brazilians and the fast-starting Chinese, and make sure they got those qualifying places as we have a look at these great slow-motion shots.
Yeah, you can really see the lean back in the bows there from Lauren Rolls. A lot of strength through to the finish.
Yeah, there's the clap. We're in the Paralympics, guys, and Mikhail Gomez-Pisana absolutely delighted. There's confirmation of that new world's championship best time, 8:07.33 from the British double, Ukraine and Brazil.